when you're playing Minecraft, don't you ever feel the need to shoot up a school?
What the Welcome back to the Uneducated podcast, where we really don't know shit.
Yeah, we really don't know shit. But today we're going to be talking about gamers and if the games that they play make them more violent. But before that, which I think is very relevant to the topic, I want to plug in my gaming channel, which has recently began its uploading again. So yeah, like if you're interested in gaming and interested in me messing up or doing random stuff, rage quitting or whatever, feel free to join in, and hope to see you there.
Well, I think we've all just realised that Abs is a bit of an arsehole for plugging in his own channel. Thanks for that, Abs.
Oh man,
no one
great.
Cares. I hope your channel burns.
Hey, games make people violent. I will kill you.
Right. We're going to answer the question, the games make people violent. Personally, for me, they didn't make me violent. I can only speak on my own behalf, obviously. I think
so. You're not a mass murderer.
Maybe a serial killer at night time. Might have a wee dual personality going on there.
Yeah, but you watched
a bit
Dexter,
of Dexter vibes. Yeah.
You watched Dexter, so obviously you're a killer.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Nah, but gaming for me was like, my mum was quite strict on the games I'd be allowed to play. Like, she had the sort of philosophy that if a game was like for 18 and over, then like there was an age rating for a reason type thing. I think as I got older, that sort of like slackened off a wee bit. So I don't know if because my mum like held me back for a few years, that's what helped not make me violent, as opposed to some parents that would just like get them any sort of game and they're like 10, do you know what I mean? And they're allowed to play like just whatever game that they want.
Yeah, but that's like the kind of, your mum was probably the opposite of mine in that regard, isn't it? The way that she thought it was like all games are for kids, right?
Yeah.
She didn't know that there was a rating, and at that point, at that age, I didn't care if there was a rating or not. Obviously, like an adult doesn't care. Obviously, I think I probably lucked out with that. Maybe that does like kind of change your morals a bit. I think like this is like something like I actually put a study in like back in high school, the school and all that. Like, you know how where you had to write those essays about a topic or something like that. And so I did actually look up to like a lot of studies. Right? And the surprising thing was none of those studies showed a link between
there's no
gaming
correlation
and violence. Right? Because like there's so many gamers, but there's like a lot less violence occurring from these gamers.
Yeah.
Right. But I think the rating is there for a reason, like your mum was right. That people that kids that like 8 or younger shouldn't be playing Call of Duty. Or they shouldn't be playing like Arkham Asylum or something like with swear words or something like that. Because they'll take a negative influence from it, and they'll take like glorify weapons or whatever kind of thing. So I think that though it won't make them violent, I don't believe it makes them violent.
I don't believe that.
I think it might make them more easily aggravated, if you know what I mean. And like there's a separation.
Like maybe some anger issues.
Yeah, anger issues I think could be caused, but like violence is like totally different.
Yeah.
Like there is a barrier.
Violence is like extreme.
Yeah. Violence is an extreme side of that spectrum. And I think like with me growing up, when I played games, I played like those games, Call of Duty and stuff like that when I was younger anyway. But I never like got angry at those games. Like I'm pretty hard to like make rage quit or something like that. Right.
I feel like you would do that a lot if you're like quite young and you're playing these games. Like you would get angry and rage quit a lot. But yeah, I think what you were saying about the negative influences, like the language that they'll pick up and like the behaviour that they'll pick up. You know what I mean? Like they're using weapons and using like explicit language, etc., but they won't impose all those behaviours on someone, but they'll like pick up on it and it'll sort of form parts of their personality as they grow older.
Yeah, I think so, but
not as much as like they're violent.
Yeah, the violence is like how they're brought up overall, I think. Kind of like, and that's kind of like what I want to like segue slightly into here.
Okay.
Like, this is from what made me mad about this is that you know how there was an El Paso shooting and like I'm not sure if it was Colorado or not, but there was a shooting on that on the same day in America, right? When Trump was talking about it, right, he said that games are what makes the shooters violent, right? Obviously, like that's a ridiculous claim, but parents believe that. Right, older like followers or like voters and stuff like that believe that thing, right? Even though no study shows it.
Yeah.
Right. So one thing that's interesting here is that what I believe is that it's the parent who's always going to be like the main contributor to how the child grows up, right?
Yeah,
and what
clearly.
they play and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think the parent should restrain like your kid, like what your mum did, like with restraining what age, like you should be when playing a game. Because I may have locked out. I don't know. But my cousins and all that, like who also went through the same thing as me, aren't violent or even less even violent than I am or something. Right? Like they're proper peaceful people. But when it comes to like how much time you get to play those games.
Oh,
I think that's where it comes in.
Like some people are on it constantly.
Yeah, if your kid's playing it for over 3 hours, that's going to take a huge effect, I think. Because I've seen it like in my little cousins, like how they're playing games, and like he's really violent for his young age.
Okay.
Like I know he played like Call of Duty and stuff like that, but I wouldn't like let him play that if I had the choice. But I know his parents say, "Oh, it's just a game. He's okay." But I know that there's an effect there. That if you're exposed to this kind of game for too long, like if it's good if it's in breaks, because then you have
like
that
in moderation.
Because then you have that time to explain it in the real world. You're not going to always go back to that game as a sort of like place to like move away from the real world, or like it's good to have that kind of like isolation, like the way you want to like play a game to just kind of go into your own fantasy kind of world and stuff.
Yeah, like an escape.
Yeah, and that's what story games are supposed to be, right? But for like shooting games or like violent action ones, this says you wouldn't like put your kid into like a R18 movie.
Yeah.
Why are you exposing him to an R18 game like an R18 game for so long? At least, you know, like R18 games aren't that bad. Like depending on what they are. If they're Grand Theft Auto, then they're horrible for a kid.
Yeah.
But if they're like Call of Duty, then like okay, like it's just a shooting game, but you should play it in moderation because when a kid plays it, he gets too hyper.
Yeah.
You know, he like has to take that aggression out because there's too much energy for a kid to like handle.
Control, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that it comes to parenting when it comes to these games. It's not the game's fault, but the parents who aren't responsible for like their kids.
The choice about what you do with the game.
Yeah, because like even after Trump said that, like Walmart in America removed all violent games.
Did they?
All violent games without like caring about any of the studies. And like without like they care more about like what the adults think kind of think about them, like obviously it's a business thing.
Yeah.
But the fact is that they moved all of them from the shelves. We're just thinking that are we like is a sign that to me that we'll follow what most people think rather than what's actually true.
Yeah, like propaganda kind of.
Yeah, and it's the same thing like with climate change and stuff like that. The only reason we're ever getting held back is because like we're not looking at the proper effects.
Yeah. And
that comes into this gaming as well. Gaming could be like something that's revolutionary to the world. Through games we've found out like we've had sensors made for like blind people to kind of like see colours a bit. There's like deaf people to like kind of feel objects and stuff like that. Kind of with sorry, not deaf people, but people without sensitivity in their feelings and stuff. Like they made like gloves, kind of like showing like where they can like press and stuff like that. And they feel like this virtual world that they're in. And obviously, like there's virtual reality for people that can't get out of the house. Yeah. Like they can put virtual reality and go anywhere. And gaming's the one that's kind of pushed all of this.
The technology from it.
The technology, like because like what the scientists do is that they see gaming like going in this direction, and they're thinking, what happens if I put a benefit to this? Yeah. So like that thinking that gaming is bad is totally wrong. Yeah. Isn't it? Because it's like
it's multifunctional.
It's multifunctional. So do you agree?
I absolutely agree. We've not had any debate so far. That's good.
That's good, man. You're on the same page.
I don't know if that sort of concludes
what our thinking is. Yeah. Cause I think that basically is it. Because I think gaming does cause aggravation. Like I think if you play in moderation, fine.
Yeah.
But if you're playing moderation, you won't get aggravated like how I did. But if you play for so many hours countlessly, it's just too much.
Yeah. So, boys and girls, a quick couple tips. Maybe just a couple hours a day, nothing more.
Especially
don't go on it every day. That's a wee bit excessive, maybe.
Yeah, well, like if you're like take
every couple
from
days.
school or something and you're tired, like play for an hour and then like do your homework or whatever.
Do your homework,
man. Study, man. It's important. We're parents now.
We're parents. Are you right?
Ross is the mum, I'm the dad.
What? I ain't taking no feminine role in this, bitch.
Yeah, but for parents out there, kind of let your child play games because it's a popular topic and it kind of helps socialise now more than how it like used to isolate. Let your kids play games, but make sure they play it in moderation and to look into what games they're getting. And I think that's a good place to end it.
Yep, that's us. We're done.
Yee.